Well, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, Dutch.
Alright, so what we're about to do is we're about to take a text file and hide it in an executable using alternate data streams in Windows 8. So I just have this text file called virus.txt, and I typed in the word virus. And it's just as easy as doing type and virus.txt and doing this redirection operated .exe. And it looks a little funny, but if you click on it, it won't run. But if you do this, there you go.
No, you embedded a text file, or you embedded the executable in the text file.
Embedded the text file in the executable, but you can do it the opposite way.
That's what I was going to ask, if you can do the opposite.
Okay, let's try it. Actually, I'm going to delete this guy and put a fresh one here. And let's try that. It's probably going to spit out a bunch of binary again. Let's see what happens if I...
So you see what he was able to do there, though? I mean, really, just using the operator, he was able to append to the file something that may look innocuous. I mean, you could definitely try to get that virus.txt through a firewall.
Right.
There's a way to get it to extract from it too. I'm trying to remember how you do that.
That's what I was wondering. So if you defeat like a filter on an Exchange server, that you could actually attach an executable to an email.
Yeah, I mean, you could append it this way.
Right.
Sure, you could try. Whether or not it depends on how good your heuristics are or your signature-based filtering is. But you know, things like that, you can use the redirect operands or some of the other ways that we were just showing about the stream data to obfuscate or hide files within files that maybe you want to try to get at a later date.
So how is that any different than just changing the file extension?
So here what he did is he has the text file, and he actually embeds the exe into the text file.
If you go out and you change that command.exe that he created to just command.txt, then it'll open up in Notepad.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, so it redumps the binary into an executable, and you can turn it into an executable and click on it, and it works. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. So what's that ren command that you used right there?
Oh, it's rename. I just renamed the virus.txt file to virus.exe.
All right. So what Jeff was just saying is, you know, if you were able to get it past the filter, you attach that text file. I mean, certainly it could be a PDF, could be a docx. If you were to attach that file to an email and then somehow get it to rename it on the other side, then it's on.
Right. So if you get a user to click on the text file for whatever reason, open this text file to do this, and they launch the executable.
So let me give you a scenario right here. And I know that this has never happened, and you guys have never done this before. So let's talk about some of our friends that may have done this right here. Where, let's say that somebody wants to get a zip over to you, and they want to email it. Usually what do you do in order to get a zip past an email filter? Change the file extension, right? So what if our nefarious guy Hugh over here, the well-dressed young man that's sitting over in the corner, let's say that he sends us a zip file, and what he wants us to do is he wants us to, hey, rename the zip file to a .com file, right, or an exe file, and it'll run for you. Well, you know, Hugh, being the security professional he is, he probably would say, no, I'm not going to do that, right? But if we tried 100 of them, like we were talking about before, if we tried 100 people, chances are favorable that at least one of those pieces of mud that we were throwing up against the wall would stick, and somebody would do that for us. And all we need is one. All we need is one to help us out with some of these alternate data streams or alternate ways that we can be creative when we're saving files. So keep that in mind as you rename things in the future, or your friends rename things in the future. Any questions?
That'd be a good social engineering.
What's that?
That'd be a good social engineering thing.
See how many people that would rename it?
Change this dot whatever to an exe to check the CPU.
Replace the icon with like
Yeah.
a rebridge or something and see how many people click it.
Well, I mean, really what we see in the business is that if it runs, especially if it runs and comes up with something meaningful, then you may not even know that something executed in the background. And then it could spawn off that little shell that we just showed, you know, with the interpreter shell that is just sitting there waiting for us to connect to it, and then once we connect to it, it's over. Then we just sit there. We maybe put a keylogger on, or you put a little botnet that's just sitting there every night at 3 o'clock. If your machine's on, shoot over any changes to the operating system. You know? So how would you protect yourself against doing something like this?
Don't rename files you don't know.
Okay? Don't trust anyone?
Turn off your computer and make sure it stays off.
All right. All right, cool. Thanks, Dutch.
We can now let this guy on their machine.
Oh.